Yes, is my screen visible now? मेरी स्क्रीन दिख रही है सबको?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Regarding the syllabus, the last time the syllabus which I have shared with you or I have explained you, that was for the last year. Now from this semester onwards, the database management system syllabus has been changed. So that is a C scheme. Okay. There is a C scheme. Let me show you. You must be having the syllabus copy also. So this is a EXTC department, the second year, which is effective from 2021. Third year, this is 21-22. So this is the updated syllabus for your subject DBMS, which is a department elective subject. Okay. So as per this subject, yes, you do not have any practicals. You have only theory class, and the important thing is there is a slight change as per the the modules. There are slight changes, otherwise the whole syllabus is the same. So I will just show you the syllabus. See here now, the prerequisite, if you see the prerequisite, it is clearly mentioned here that you should have the knowledge of C programming, you should have the knowledge of C++ and Java programming and Python programming. In my last lecture also I have told you that you should have the knowledge of programming. So this is the prerequisite. Okay. So already you have studied, you must have done in your first year C programming. Okay. Then the skill lab, you must have done C++ and Java programming. And the latest programming is about the Python. Okay. So it is required that you should have at least some knowledge about the programming. Okay. No specific programming, but overview. You should know the the format of the programming, or you should know the algorithm. You should also be aware of the data structures, what are arrays, what are lists. Okay. So we assume that you have all this knowledge. With this knowledge, we are again understanding this subject, that is the database management system. Once again, I am repeating this, that this particular subject is the core subject for your computer science as well as for IT. Okay. So previously this was subject for second year. Now they have introduced for the third year and with some modifications. Now again, everything remains the same. So I will not go into the detail of the I will not go into the detail of this programming outcome. Everything remains the same. Here also we have 6 modules. We have 6 modules. And about the book, already I have told you. About the book, I have told you that you can go with this Ramesh Nawate. This book you can buy. Okay, this is the good book. And about this DBMS, if you go for this, do not buy this book, because this is like a Bible for DBMS students, those who want to go into the detail of understanding. So database system and concept by Korth. Okay, this is a Bible book. Everything will be in much more detail. So do not buy this book. This book is available in our library. If you want to go to buy the book, you can go with this third one, Nawate. Okay, or else you also can go with Gupta. But I think this third book is the best one if you see the language and the understanding. Okay, then the reference book, no need to go. If you want, you can go. You will see these books available in the library. Then yes, the e-resources I have told you. Okay. Then about the case study. Yesterday, someone of you have told me about the case study. Yes. There are the case studies related with the library management system, hospital, pharmacy, HRD, students, employee, inventory control. There are many more. Okay. Railway also we can have. So regarding the case study, I will be, grouping some of you in the group of 2 or 3, and at the end of the semester you will be giving me the presentation regarding this particular case studies. Okay, so the groups will be formed and you will be giving me the presentation. So this is the last one. At the end of the semester we can go with the safe learning process, and the internal assessment and the 80 marks end semester exam, everything remains the same. There is no practical. Previously the practical was there under the under the lab as skill, under the name of skill lab. Can you see here? Skill lab. ECL 304, ECL 405. So under this, there were some programming which has to be done. Okay, but for you now, there is no programming required. Only theory class, only theory is there. Okay, and the questions will, your marks will be depending upon your internal assessment 1, 2, and your end semester exam. I think everything is clear about the subject now. Everything is clear about the subject, the syllabus. मेरी आवाज आ रही है सबको?
Yes, sir.
There has to be someone to acknowledge me, क्योंकि मैं बोलते रहूंगा, मुझे नहीं पता because of some internet problem आपको आवाज आ रही नहीं आ रही. There has to be someone to give me acknowledgement. ठीक है, जब मैं पूछूंगा, there has to be someone to answer. Now come to the your first module, that is introduction to Dbms. So we have started with the introduction to the Dbms. We have seen, just have a recap what we have done in the last lecture. We have started with the data. Then we have seen what is the information and the difference between the data and the information. Then we have seen what is the database. Then we have seen what is the Dbms. And the last we have seen what is the management system. What is the management system? So just quick review. When you talk about the data, it is a raw data which is unprocessed, This data may be related or not related. That is also important. Huh? This data may be related, or you can say related bolne se acha, you can say interrelated. Or not related. The important thing is they are the raw data. And one important parameter about the data is that this data should be recorded. Should be in the recorded form. So I have given you some examples like image, audio, video. Okay, it can be in the form of numbers. So all this recorded data, which is unpolished, which is raw, which may be interrelated or may not be interrelated, they are called as the data. Then when you say about the information, I have already told you that information is subset of the data. So whenever you require some meaningful data, so here important thing about this is meaningful. So see, these are the some important keywords related with the data and the information. So what is the keyword here? Meaningful, processed. Okay, the data which the data which is more useful for the user, then that data becomes the information. Okay, then that data becomes the information. So here the data is processed in the under the heading of information. When you talk about the database, whenever you talk about the database, now here the database means the interrelated data. This is very important. और interrelated data बोलो या interrelated information, because data में से मैंने information लिया, meaningful data लिया, बाद में these all data should be interrelated. I think in the last lecture I have given you an example where I have to collect the database of a student of the class. If there are 50 students, then I should have a specific columns, serial number, then roll number, then the name of the student, then the contact number, the address, okay, everything. Now, don't you think that these data are interrelated? I am collecting the data of the student. ऐसा तो नहीं कि मैंने 4 स्टूडेंट्स के नाम लिए, बाद में कुछ एम्प्लॉयज के नाम लिए, बाद में कुछ फैकल्टीज के नाम लिए, बाद में कुछ नॉन फैकल्टीज के नाम लिए. No. If I take such type of mixed data, then it is not called as interrelated. They are not called as interrelated. So under the student database, students are interrelated. Under the database of the railway system, the passengers are interrelated. Under the heading of hospitals, then in that case the patients becomes the interrelated. So all the data related with the patients are all interrelated. Okay, are all interrelated. I think I have given the example of the pandemic, the vaccination. So if you open if you go to the the malls, they ask you to show you the certificates. Then you go to the portal, you download the certificates and you show the certificate. Okay, because your data is linked with the Aadhaar card. That is more important. So your contact numbers under the KYC, know your customer, your uh, your accounts, your mobile numbers. Okay, everything is linked with Aadhaar card and PAN card, or everything is linked with Aadhaar card and PAN card. So it is a database. It is a database. So database are, and one of the important the attributes of database is that this database consists of huge information. That is more important. सिर्फ हम database को अगर 50 students ही लिए है, then it don't becomes a database. You can say a database, of course, but it should have more and more information. Okay, the entities, the important thing is entity. I'm just writing down here. ये सब आगे लेंगे हम. So entities should be more when you talk about the database. Okay, then comes the DBMS. So here DBMS means what? This DBMS is the, you can say, the system or the software. Okay, it is a system or the software which is used to store this database. Now there are different ways I can define this database, DBMS. The important keywords associated with the DBMS is that you should be able to store the database. You should be able to manipulate the database. You should be able to access the database. Now here in DBMS subject, access is sometimes replaced with the word query. Please remember this. The query means access. So in your DBMS, it is a software, or it is a software tool, which is used to store the database, which is used to manipulate the database, which is used to access or to query the database. Okay. So DBMS is the software tool. Now it is understood. DBMS is the software tool. Okay. And management system which sits on the top, which will manage different DBMS. So every organization, every firm will manage different DBMS. Will manage different DBMS. Okay, like yesterday I've given an example. If you take our college, it is an institute. So the management system will manage your library database, DBMS. It will manage your student database. It will manage your faculty database. It will manage your non-teaching faculty database. It will manage your inventory, जो हम labs में use करते हैं, different instruments. Okay, their inventory is also managed. So DBMS is related with us in our day-to-day life. It is related to us in day-to-day life. You take any example, it is associated with DBMS. यहाँ तक I think everything is clear, crystal clear. Any question you can ask me. Any question so far? You have to just answer yes or no. If you have question, you have to answer. You have to question me. If you don't have, you can say no, sir. You can proceed.
No, sir.
Okay. So we'll proceed further. Now we will proceed further and we will try to understand through the PPT now. Okay. See here, this is the PPT taken from the book which I have told you, the Bible of the DBMS by Korth. Okay. So here they have given some of the the outlines, the need for database, the data models, relational database design, and so on and so forth. What is the query processing? So for this we will go one by one, but I have the other PPT also. Let me show you that PPT. Yes. See all of you now. Now I will be talking about something where you should be able to understand where I stand, where DBMS stand, and where the database stand. This is important slide to understand more in detail about the DBMS. Okay, so please pay attention. Yes. Now, when you talk about this, I think the slide is visible to everyone. The slide is
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay. Now, when you talk about this interaction between the user, DBMS, and database, now this slide is very informative because this slide will give us the understanding we as a user where we stand, then where our software tool stands, and where is our database stand. So you have understood the database is interrelated information, and it is a huge information. It is a huge information. Okay, so that's why we have, you know, we have clouds online. We have the clouds are there for storing the huge data. We have client servers. Okay, so that can be treated as the database. So here, if you see properly, this is a database. Here is your data which is stored. Here is the data which is stored. And we as the user, we are on the other side. So we are the end users, you can say. Okay, we are the end users, which is on the other side. So in between, your DBMS plays an important role. Your DBMS plays an important role. Now, as I have told you earlier, that this DBMS is a software tool which is used to access, store data, manipulate data, okay, access or query the data. If you see the flow of this chart, if you see the flow of this diagram, here you will be able to understand if I have to make a request for information. I will assume the database has lots of information, and if I have to make a request for the information, then that will be done through the DBMS software. See the flow. Once the request is made by the DBMS searches the database. The DBMS searches the database. Now, depending upon the information available in the database, or if the information is not available, then in the reverse flow, the DBMS will retrieve the information if the data is available. The information will be retrieved from the DBMS. And the DBMS returns the information to the user. And the DBMS returns the information to the user. So this is the crystal clear, the picture which will give you the understanding where is user, where is DBMS, and where is database, and what user can do. Okay, it can, now here it is just making a request, but the DBMS is made by me, or it has to be accessed by me. Then I can manipulate the data in the database. Okay, that I can manipulate. That means I can store, I can delete, I can access. Okay, everything I can do with the database. So user and database are linked through the DBMS. User and database are linked with the DBMS. So this slide is very important. This slide is very important. Now, before I proceed further, I should be able to make you understand that before the DBMS, what was the system available? What was the system available? What was the system available? Okay. Now, that can be well understood. Yes, that can be well understood if I have to show you what are the, or how is your DBMS different from file system. So here we have to understand how is your DBMS different from file system. File system. Now this file system, we can say this is a traditional method. Okay, I will just write down traditional. So traditional file accessing method, that is a file system. Okay, and how this file system is different from the DBMS which we are using in the current scenario. Okay, so traditionally it was a file system. Now if I ask you the question, I want to answer, someone has to answer this. Now if if in your class D14A, there are, suppose there are 70 students, okay, and if I ask here to give me the database of the student, which should have the data related with the name of the student, the contact number, and the address, Can any one of you tell me where you will write this information? Where you will write down this information? I will. I may even ask you that you please mail me the database of your class. You mail me the database of your class. So tell me where you will write this data, where you will store, and once you store the data, then you will mail me. So tell me, where are you going to write down this database of your class? Any one of you?
Excel sheet.
Sir. Or
Yes.
Google Sheet.
Google Sheet, Excel sheet, any other option you have other than that? Now, before Google Sheet, there was a spreadsheet which is called as an Excel sheet. Yes, you are right. Okay. So Excel sheet, उसके बाद में Google Sheet आया था, Google Form आया था. Okay. So a seer can ask the student, or he or she will circulate the Google Form and will request the student to give the information related to your address and your contact number. Okay. So once the data is available, how will you mail me? You will mail me this once you take the data from the students and you write down this data or copy this data into the Excel sheet. So that once every data you have received and the Excel sheet is ready, you will be mailing me the attachment of an spreadsheet, that is Excel sheet. Okay. So the Excel sheet, or there is other way also. If the CR is not, doesn't have any knowledge about the spreadsheet or Excel sheet, what he or she will do? She or he will prepare the table using the WordPad or Notepad. He or she will have the columns, and the CR will just put up and copy paste the name, the contact number, and the address. Okay, and give me the Word format. So don't you think there are different formats available in which you can store the data? It can be either your Excel sheet, it can be your Notepad, it can be your Word. Okay, Microsoft Word. So don't you think this format or every file is having different formats? Okay, so here what can I say, that if I'm using Excel sheet, I can store the data in the Excel sheet. You can use the Notepad. You can use the Microsoft Word. So these are the different formats, or these are the different ways where you will be able to store the data. Okay, where you will be able to store the data. Now these are actually, the traditional file system. Now when I talk about the file system, these are the traditional. And as far as the data is less, okay, if it is 70, you can go with Excel sheet, or you can go with the Notepad, or you can go with the Word. But when you have to access the huge data, can you imagine the railway reservation system which will have such a huge, tremendous data? Okay, so in that case, Excel sheet, Notepad, or Word will not going to be helpful for us. In that case, we have to take the help of DBMS, Database Management System, because it is going to manage all your huge data. Okay, so I have to show you how this DBMS is superior, or if we need to show first what are the drawbacks of file system and how this DBMS is going to overcome those problems. Okay, so we are going to understand this under the heading of drawbacks of file system. Drawbacks of file system. Once I list down the drawbacks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there are 6 drawbacks. Once I list down the drawbacks of file system, then you will be able to understand these drawbacks are overcome by DBMS. That's why DBMS is superior if you talk about the traditional the handling of the file by using the file system, we have to go with DBMS. Okay, so we have to see what are these different drawbacks. Okay, so these drawbacks we'll be able to see. I have a slide for that. Just a minute. Yeah, this is also one of the PPT I have, which is from the author, which already I have told you, Nawate. Can you see here? Almestri and Nawate, 7th edition. Even I have an ebook. I think today or tomorrow I will be uploading that ebook in your classroom. Okay, so once you have this ebook, I think no need to buy the book. If the market is open, you can at least have the hard copy with you. Otherwise, you can go with the ebook also. Okay, तो आज या कल मैं आपको अपलोड करके दूंगा ये ebook and some of the PPTs. So in this, we'll be talking about the drawbacks. Okay, so let me show you the drawback. I think it is. Yes, drawbacks of using file system to store data. Now these are the drawbacks. Okay, we will go one by one. But before I go to the, I think application areas, everything is clear to you. There are huge applications of the database. Then also I will just read out for you. Now when you talk about the database, the database application is in the banking, airline reservation, universities, registration and grades, in the sales, customers, products and purchase, online retailers. Okay, order tracking. Order tracking is important. Most of you must have done the online shopping using Amazon and Flipkart. So order tracking is also done by the DBMS. Then manufacturing, production, inventory, order, supply chain. Human resources includes the employee records, salaries and tax deductions. Okay, database can be very large. This is very important. Very large की जब बात करते हैं तो database picture में आता है. Okay, that databases touch all aspects of our lives. I have given that day-to-day examples also. I have told you. Application program examples, add new students, instructors and courses. Now this is more important for us. Being from the academic background, you should be able to know how this database is used for the university. Okay. Now here, if we talk about the database about related with the university, see here now. Now, when you talk about the university database system example, the university will have the, if you are taking the admission to the engineering, it will have the record of new students, the instructors are we as a teaching faculties, and the courses. The courses stands for subjects. Now, different subjects for different semesters, lower semester to higher semester. Okay, so subjects, then the teaching faculties and the students comprises of a database as far as university database is concerned. Okay, the register students for courses, generate class roster. This is not important for you. This is important. Assign grades to students. अब जब हम आपकी एग्जाम लेते हैं टेस्ट 1 टेस्ट 2, we have to save these grades. Okay, so we have to have a database. Okay, so we are saving the grades. We give marks out of 20. Then test 1 20, test 2 20, and the average of this. Okay, so if I have to give the grades, then that has to be also stored. Compute grade point average, that is your GPA, grade point average, and generate transcripts. So everything is done by the database. Now this is last line is important. In the early days, database applications were built directly on top of file system. So top of file system, this already I have explained you. Okay, so we are going to see now the drawbacks of the file system and how this DBMS is going to help us to overcome this drawback. Okay, so we will see this now. Yes, now see the drawbacks. We will go one by one. I will give for every drawback, I will give you the example so that it will be better understood in a proper way. Okay, the first drawback is data redundancy and inconsistency. Okay, data redundancy and inconsistency. Multiple file formats, duplication of information in different files. Let me give an example. When you talk about, if I ask you to make the database of the student, here you will have the serial number, here you will have a name, here you will have a contact number, and here you will have an address. Okay, now you have stored this in your laptop or PC. If I ask you, I want only serial number, name of the student, and the contact number, I do not want this. Already I have explained you in the previous lecture. Then what you will do, you will make a duplicate copy of this, in which there will be only 3 columns: serial number, name of the student, and the contact number. There won't be an address. Next time, if I ask you, I want serial number, name, contact number with the roll number, then you will, what you will do, you will make the copy of this, duplicate copy of this, or you will make the duplicate copy of this, and here then you will add one more column. There will be 4 columns in which there will be serial number, roll number, name and contact. Now every time, as per the requirement, you are duplicating the copy, you are making the you are deleting the columns, you are adding the columns. So deleting, adding, duplication of the copy will make the redundancy. What do you mean by redundancy? The duplications. Okay, so in the file system you have duplications. And what do you mean by inconsistency? It means that, for example, suppose there is one student, uska contact number मैंने आपको बताया था 888 something is there. Okay, and after few days, the student says that I have changed my contact number, you make it 99. Then in this copy only you have changed from 88 to 99, but you forgot to make the changes in this. You forgot to make the changes in this file. You have only made the changes in the master copy. So I can say this is a master copy and this is the duplicate copies. So you have made the changes only in the master copy, but you forgot to make the changes in the duplicate copy. That means there is the inconsistency. Here you will see 99, but still there is 88. So you have not made the changes. This is only because of redundancy and inconsistency. Okay, this is because of redundancy and inconsistency. And this happens because of multiple file formats, duplication of information in different files. Okay, so this first drawback is important one. I hope you have understood this first drawback. Shall I proceed further? Someone has to acknowledge.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next one is difficulty in accessing the data. Just a minute. Yes, difficulty in accessing the data. Now this is important. Need to write a new program to carry out each new task. Okay. Now here, let me give an example. Now suppose you are using Excel file, or if you are using WordPad, then it is okay. But if you want to make any changes using the code, using the program, हम program से भी हम file में changes ला सकते हैं. Yes. Now don't you think that if I take a same example, if I want to change this the contact number, even I have to change the address. Now don't you think if I have written down some program which consists of 10 to 11 lines, I have written the program consisting of 10 to 11 lines. In that case, if I have to change the contact number and if I have to change the address, then you have to do the changing in the code also. So whenever you have to make the modifications, there has to be a modification in the program also. As per the change in the program, your data will be changed. The change in the program will reflect the change in your actual file. So this is an example where you are making the changes by using the program. So difficulty in accessing the data, because it may also happen by using this program. Now there are suppose 50 students are there, but if there are 200 students, where you will search the particular student. Okay, then in that case, you can just go with the Control and R. But if you are written in the program, and if I have to specifically found out, or specifically if I have to find the particular name of the program of a student, in that case, I have to go with the program. So in the program, I will be making some changes. If I have to replace this name with some other name, if I have to replace the contact number with some other number, or if I have to change the address. So everything has to be changed as per the change in the program. So that is accessing the data. Difficulty in accessing the data. That is the meaning of this. Difficulty in accessing the data. So that is your second point. Again, remember क्या लिखा है? Need to write a new program to carry out each new task. अगर एक टास्क दिया है तो ठीक है. Second task, change the program. Third task, change the program. पूरा प्रोग्राम हम नहीं चेंज करते, but lines in the program. Okay, that is the meaning of difficulty in accessing the data. The third one comes data isolation. Data isolation. Now this is also important. Multiple files and formats. Now here, abhi iska matlab kya hai? Now when you talk about the multiple files and formats, you know, I can store in different files, spreadsheet, Word, a notepad. Okay, don't you think where if I am storing these different files, these will have different locations to store? So don't you think the data is isolated? The data is also isolated because there is not a specific, the target where all the data are stored because of multiple files and formats. Now here you can treat files, here you can treat folders. Okay, because here अगर हम कुछ फाइल स्टोर भी करते हो, so you are making different folders. You are making different folders for better understanding and to better access the data. तो हम फोल्डर के different नाम्स देते. Okay, for suppose this is for placement, this is for some particular subject, for Dbms. Okay, so this folder will have all the data or all the related files. Placement folder will have all the related files. Okay, so and so forth. So multiple files and formats will have, अगर वो duplication हम करते हैं, तो everywhere you will see that the formats or the files are stored in a different places. That is called as a data isolation. So data isolation was the problem in the file system, which is not seen in the Dbms. Everything is stored in a single Dbms database. इसलिए मैंने जो आपको पहले दिखाया था ना, एक ही database में सब रहेगा. No duplication. Whatever the changes, do on the same file. Okay, everything will be done at the single place. So no duplication of the data. So that is the meaning of data isolation. That is the meaning of data isolation. And that data isolation क्यों होता है? Because of multiple files and formats. Come to the next one now. Integrity problem. This is very important. Integrity problem. अब integrity problem क्या है? Let me give an example. अब यहाँ पे example उन्होंने क्या दिया है? Suppose this is example taken for the bank transaction. Okay, bank transaction. Now please pay attention now. Integrity problem क्या होता है? Okay. If I'm using an ATM card, if I'm using my ATM card, in the ATM card, suppose I have 100 rupees. In the ATM card, I have 100 rupees. Now, you go to the ATM machine, you withdraw 50 rupees. You withdraw 50 rupees. Once this 50 rupees is withdrawn, you are left with 50 rupees. You are left with 50 rupees. Now, don't you think this change from 100 to 50, this should be in the real time? This should be in the real time? Yes, this has to be in real time. क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि मैंने 100 रुपए में से 50 रुपीज निकाले, I have left with 50, लेकिन this is not reflected in the real time. और अगर फिर से मैं अगर suppose I have to withdraw 100, क्योंकि क्या है, in this 100 your 50 is repeated and you have left with balance of 50. But if this 50 is not reflected in your ATM, then again if you go to the ATM machine after 1 minute or 2 minutes, then it will be left, what will be reflected in the as per the record? 100 only. And once again, if you withdraw 100 rupees from the ATM, then you will be able to withdraw ATM, because that is not reflected in the real time. Okay, so that is called as integrity problem. That is called as integrity problem. So whenever you do such transactions where the credit and debit has to be done at the same time, that has to be done in the same time, that has to be done in the same time, that is possible in DBMS. That is possible in the DBMS. That is not possible in file system. That is not possible in file system, because in the file system, if you do these changes and somehow if you forget, then there is a problem of inconsistency, जो हमने पहले पढ़ी है. डुप्लीकेशन होने के कारण ये प्रॉब्लम आता है. So if you take the bank transaction, your balance need to be updated at all the time. Your balance has to be updated all the time. So whatever the application you are using, that should check the balance. जो भी एप्लीकेशन यूज कर रहे हैं, जो बैंक using what DBMS system, the software tool, that application needs to check the balance in the real time mode. That is more important. Okay, and that problem is seen in the file system, which is overcome in the DBMS. Okay, that is overcome in the DBMS. So that is called as integrity problem. That is called as integrity problem. So for any question you have, so we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, data redundancy and inconsistency, difficulty in accessing data, data isolation, integrity problem. I have explained you with some example. You please try to keep these examples in mind. If question is asked, you will be able to understand in a better manner. And sometimes if it is required to explain or you have to elaborate, you can elaborate by giving an example. Next one. Yes, there are more 3 problems left. See here. Atomicity of updates. Atomicity of updates. This is also called as atomicity of operations. This is also important. This is also important. Now here, again, let me give an example. There are 2 persons, person A and person B. Person A wants to transfer 100 rupees into the account of B. Okay. So A को 100 rupees transfer करना है B के account में. Bank account. I'm talking about bank account. So what A person will do, by using internet banking, A person will transfer 100 rupees to B. ओके अब ये जो ट्रांजैक्शन दिख रहा है आपको 100 रुपीज का, नाउ दिस इज वेरी सेंसिबल ट्रांजैक्शन which is related with the money. Okay, so whenever you transfer 100 rupees from account A to account B, this transaction should be done. What transaction? Credit and debit. So 100 rupees should be debited from account A and 100 rupees should be credited in account B. And this should happen in real time. और this should not happen partially. Partial updates नहीं होना चाहिए. इसका मतलब क्या है? Try to understand. यहाँ पे देखो क्या लिखा है. Failures may leave database in an inconsistent state with partial updates carried out. With partial updates. ये ट्रांजैक्शन तो पूरा एक साथ ही होना चाहिए. क्रेडिट करो और डेबिट करो एट द सेम टाइम. लेकिन अगर ऐसा हो गया कि बी के अकाउंट में क्रेडिट हुआ लेकिन ए के अकाउंट से डेबिट नहीं हुआ, डोंट यू थिंक दिस इज अ पार्शियल अपडेट्स? दिस आर द पार्शियल अपडेट कि क्रेडिट हुआ है लेकिन डेबिट नहीं हुआ है. ओके, या फिर मैं ऐसा बोल सकता हूं क्रेडिट नहीं हुआ है लेकिन डेबिट हुआ है. either of the way, that is called as partial updates. So partial updates was seen in the file system, but that is overcome in the DBMS. Okay, that is overcome in the DBMS. Okay, तो यहाँ पे लिखा है transfer of funds from one account to another should either complete or not happen. डेबिट और क्रेडिट कर दो या फिर क्रेडिट भी मत करो डेबिट भी मत करो. ओके, लेकिन पार्शियल भी नहीं होना चाहिए कि क्रेडिट हुआ है, डेबिट नहीं हुआ है, डेबिट हुआ है और क्रेडिट नहीं हुआ है. Okay, so that should not happen. So that is called as atomicity of updates, or you can say atomicity of operation. ये operation ही है जहाँ पे transaction हो रहा है. There is a, we have to also understand transactions in the DBMS. That thing we will see in the consecutive lectures when we see about the other modules. Okay, so this is the next problem or the next drawback. Okay, the next one. The next one is concurrent access of multiple users. This is also important. Let me give an example. If I have to give an example of this, okay, I think the example is there. Concurrent access needed for performance. Uncontrolled concurrent access can lead to inconsistency. Example: two people reading a balance, say 100, and updating it with withdrawing money, say 50 each at the same time. Let me give another example. For this, I can give you the other example. Now, when you talk about the concurrent access, now actually this concurrent access is seen in the multiple users. Let me give you the best example. You are using Book My Show. You are using Book My Show. So if I'm using my Book My Show to reserve my seat in the cinema theater, so suppose in the Book My Show, if you are seeing different seats are there with different colors, okay, this is 1 2 3 4 5 screen आपका यहाँ पे 6 7 8. If user A and user B at the same time, if user A and user B at the same time wants to book seat number 3, even though they are booking at the same time, it should not happen both of them getting seat number 3. Then there is a problem. Then there is a loophole. Okay, so that thing should not happen. So this seat number 3 should be either booked for A or it should be booked for 3, but not both, or not booking should not happen at the same time. अगर B बुक कर B ने 3 को बुक किया है, सीट नंबर 3 को अगर बुक किया है, that should be reflected in the A के जो ऐप यूज कर रहा है बुक माई शो का, in that it should be reflected. If seat number 3 is booked by A, that should be reflected in the application of B. So this is happening because of multiple users. अभी ये तो मैंने सिर्फ 2 ही लिया है. There would be 100 users जिसको यही बुक करना है seat number 3. So that should not happen. So that problem is called as concurrent access by multiple users. So that was the problem seen in the file system, but which was overcome in the DBMS, because DBMS works under the real time and which is getting updated in the real time mode. Okay, so concurrent access is important. Now this example I can give for railway booking, flight booking, Book My Show. So there are different where multiple users come into picture. Okay. Then the next one, the last one, the security problems. Now, security problem is the important one. As I have told you, whenever you have the transaction about the money, then the security is more concerned. Okay, so let me give an example. Suppose being the students, now if I give an access, now see, this is a database of the student from D14A. So there are serial numbers, name of the student, name of the student, roll number, contact number, and address. And if I give the access to all of you, to access this file, but I will give with some security checks, that you will be able to change the data of your own attribute. That means you related with your own data, you can change. Okay, you can change your serial number, you can change we cannot change the serial number, so I will give that you cannot change the serial number. that access will not be granted to you. Yes, you can change the name, you can change the roll number also. I will not give the access to change the roll number. Okay, then about the contact number, yes, you can change. Again the address, yes, you can change. So ये जो tick mark किया है मैंने, you can only have the access of these different fields: name, contact, address. You do not have provision to change the access for roll number as well as serial number. You do not have the access. Okay, one important thing, even I will not give the access to change the name. Why to change the name? Why to change the name? Okay, so no serial number change, no name change, no roll number change. Yes, you can change contact number, you can change the address. Okay, so don't you think that I am providing the security? One more thing, you cannot access any other data. Yes, you can see, there is no problem, you can see. Otherwise there also I will do one security check. The contacts will not be able to visualize of others. The address will not be visualized by others. Yes, you can have the name, you can know the roll number, you can know the serial number, no problem. But you cannot view. Now, can I say viewing also you need an access, the security? I'm providing the security. I'm providing the security. So this security is provided in the DBMS, which is not available in file system, which is not available in the file system. Okay, so the last one is security problem. The last one is the security problem. The last one is the security problem. So these all problems are the drawbacks of using file system, okay, which is overcome by using DBMS. I think that are the, under the heading of different drawbacks of file system. Drawbacks of file system, I have given 6 drawbacks. Okay, with specific, there are specific terms you cannot change: concurrent access, atomicity of updates, security. Okay, so these are the different terms you cannot change. If the question is asked, you should write down accordingly, and you can elaborate giving an example. Any question? Any question? Any question? Any query?
No, sir.
Okay. अब आप उधर सो रहे हो, खाना खा रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, I don't know, but at least you can acknowledge yes या फिर no. And if you have question, please ask. So shall we stop for today?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
प्रियंका मैम ने अटेंडेंस लिया क्या? एक बार चेक करो कोई तो भी.
Yes, sir. ले लिया.
हो गया ना? ठीक है. So I think everyone can leave. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.